everybody. Welcome to Bariatric Foodie Live, sponsored by Bariatric Pal. Yay! We're back, Shannon.
Yes, we are. We are here.
We've been on this successful live stream streak where the sky has not fallen for 3 weeks. I shouldn't say that. Are you near wood? You got to knock on it. I don't know what this desk is made of, but it's not wood. But I'm going to knock on it anyway. Okay. So we are back.
Yes, we are.
See both of us. You can hear both of us. We can hear each other.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for reminding people. Yes. Say hi, folks.
Tell us where you're from.
If you feel inclined, click the little share button. It's not going to take you out of the live. It'll just share it out so that everybody knows that you are so cool that you watch Bariatric Foodie Live.
Yeah.
As opposed to whatever is on the must-see TV thing, TGIT, whatever that thing is. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So how are you today, Shane? What are you drinking? I don't have a drink today. What are you drinking?
Water.
Oh, okay.
Out of this big gigantic mug because I thought it was awesome.
It's legit.
It's very legit. But it's just water.
I have a mug, but there's nothing in it. But I'm in.
Just pretend. Just pretend. Use your imagination.
Oh, that's that stuff that I used to drink for pretend when I was 5. It's very good.
It's delicious. Tastes just the same.
Okay. So before we get started, a couple things. Number one, we always have to give shout out to our sponsor, bariatricpal.com. If you've never been to bariatricpal.com, first of all, Shannon was plotting her next bariatricpal.com. We got to put in our fall order. Now, what was it that you said you wanted? What was it?
It's called Millie's Sipping something.
Sipping broth?
Sipping broth. And it was green tea infused broth, and they had flavors like Thai, lemongrass, and they're savory, and they have green tea, and I'm kind of interested in how they taste because it's not broth based. I know,
so it's broth, but it's made with green tea,
right?
It's basically the situation,
and you steep it, and I guess it was made. A teacher kind of came up with it when she was looking for something for lunchtime. So it was easier to have a mug and she could drink it kind of throughout her day. So, but they had some really neat flavors. And there's my mom.
Hi, Shannon.
So there's some really interesting flavors. I'm interested in trying them. So that's definitely on the list.
Did you put it? Okay, you put it on. We're gonna get the list together, and we're gonna do our fall box of old stuff. So if there's anything on bariatricpal.com, actually, you would go to store.bariatricpal.com, which is where the store is, and we would describe it as, like we said, the sort of the Amazon of bariatric products. They have a little bit of everything. They carry other people's stuff. They carry their own stuff. The week before last, we did this mega review of their very first big protein offering, Protein 1, which is a protein, fiber, and vitamin supplement all in one, which is awesome. And we had an awesome time doing it. If you want to go, the easiest way to find that review, go to YouTube after the Bariatric Foodie. Yeah, after the show.
After this one.
Don't leave the show, but go to Bariatric Foodie on YouTube, subscribe to the channel,
right?
And then you'll find the Protein 1 review. Okay, so that's the first thing we always got to give love to our sponsor, bariatricpal.com. They keep the lights on around here, and without him, he went to Israel, the owner Alex, and the lights started to flicker. So now he's back. We're very happy.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So a couple of housekeeping type announcements, and some of these may mean nothing to you, especially if you are new to the Foodie Nation. That is if you are following this, you're a part of the Foodie Nation, of Bariatric Foodie, the Foodie Nation. You are a foodie with a capital F. But people who have been following Bariatric Foodie and who have been in the Foodie Nation for a couple of years, this may mean something to you. But if you're new, I'm sorry, but I do have to get these announcements out. Okay, what's the first one? Number one, somebody asked about the recipe contest, because usually around this time of year, I do a recipe contest, and it is called the Play With My Food, because, our tagline is Play With Your Food. So it's like people saying Play With My Food recipe contest, and it would have a theme, and we'd have foodies serve as judges, and then, everybody's contest entry gets into an ebook that everybody would get to download, but then the winners would get a prize, and we love that recipe contest. However, we're not doing the recipe contest in 2017, guys. I'm sorry. It was one of those things where it's a couple of reasons behind it. Number one is because Facebook increasingly just does not want to push out messages about recipe content. You put the word contest in something and Facebook will show it to like 7 people, and 3 of those are your mom's various profiles or whatever it is. So it's really hard to get the word out about the contest. And then also, this is the same time of the year. Yes, Pam, I'm sorry. But this is the same time of the year where I'm also reaching out to companies to sponsor the Bariatric Foodie Pledge. And if you have never heard of the Bariatric Foodie Pledge, that happens in February. It is a 4-week goal setting and accountability challenge that we do, where you get to win prizes each and every week for making a healthy goal and staying accountable to it. And the prizes are sponsored by companies. And this is the time of the year where I do the little smile and tap dance and everything to get your favorite bariatric companies to sponsor this shindig. So that's a lot of work. The pledge start to finish is a lot of work. I start working on it in August. And it, runs through straight till March for me. And so I wanted to just really focus on getting some good sponsors for the pledge this year, because I want everybody in the Foodie Nation to feel super duper 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 motivated to do their absolute best with their goals this year. So if you are interested in, if the Bariatric Foodie Pledge sounds like something that you might be interested in, because it is in February, it's right after sort of the New Year's resolution sort of magic starting to wear off and everything. If you do find that you need a little bit of extra kick in the pants, motivation, back on track, whatever, to do your goals, and you're interested in taking part in this challenge where you're going to get to the opportunity to win prizes, and it's just like a great, exciting time of the year for us. So we have these sponsors give you discounts and all kinds of stuff. We have a private Facebook group where you can all chit chat with each other during the pledge. It's just a big deal.
It's really spectacular. I've been around for many of them, and it's just every year just keeps getting more and more awesomer. Yes.
Awesomer. So if you are interested in learning more about the Bariatric Foodie Pledge, or if you think you may just completely forget, despite the fact that we're going to start hyper talking about it in January, you can go to bariatricfoodie.com. I'm going to type this in here, bariatricfoodie.com/take the pledge. And if you fill out that little form there, I will send you a reminder when it's time to sign up for the pledge. So anyway, so that's my first announcement is no, there's not going to be a recipe contest, but it's because we're focusing our efforts on the pledge. Okay?
Eye on the prize.
All right. So now it's time to get to the content of the night. Last week, we talked about what it's like to be a long-term post-op, right?
Yep.
And yeah, we have a lot of experience in that. One thing we do have experience also in is what it was like to be a new post-op, because we all got to start somewhere. So, that tonight is, if you are pre-op,
newbie, pre-op,
and if you're new post-op, this show is for you.
Yes.
So, newbie show, let's get into it. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, now, Shannon, I don't know about you, but there was some stuff that happened in my life and to my body after I had surgery that I wasn't quite prepared for. And I didn't know a lot of people. I had surgery in 2008, so I didn't know a great abundance of people who had surgery. And so there wasn't a lot of people to ask, is this normal, or is this supposed to happen? So yeah, so you and I have gotten together and we have made a list. We have made the list of top 5-ish, and in this case, what is it? 8. So that's the ish. 8.
Lots more.
That, yes, things that we could think of that may happen to you that are totally normal, but may freak you
out.
The bleep out. Okay, so these are some things, and you know, like I said, if you are new to the game or if you are pre-op, listen carefully because you're going to want to pay attention to these things. And guys, if you are post-op and you're a little while post-op or a couple of years post-op, you guys can like co-sign these things like, yes, this happened to me too. And this is how I dealt with it. We are not the only ones who need to weigh in here. If you had like a great way that you dealt with a particular problem. Oh God, there's a bug. And he's trying to fight back too. Okay. It's like a little gnat. It's aggressive. Anyway, so if you have, you know, some sort of great way that you dealt with something that we are outlining here, please chime in. Get your little yes ready as we do these. Okay. All right. So top 5-ish things that can happen after weight loss surgery and freak you out. Okay. You guys ready? Are you ready? Okay,
I'm ready. Let's do this.
You're ready? Okay. I'm gonna start off with number 1 because this happens so many. We get messages about this. We get people who post about this when we have the air it out post. We get the whole gamut. Number 1 is the first time you step on the scale, you might see a gain. It's normal. It's and it's like, oh, the story goes the same way every single time as somebody has surgery and they have surgery like on a Tuesday, right? And typically, I don't know about everybody else, but I wanted to stay in the hospital. I liked the hospital because it's the only place where I didn't have to clean and wasn't responsible for cooking for everybody. But anyway, they kicked me out the next day. They said, you're doing well, go home. So you're home maybe Wednesday if everything goes according to schedule, right? So you're home Wednesday, you're drinking, you're doing great. You're drinking your little liquids, you're getting your little protein drink, you're doing your little walk around the house, you're taking your little post-op meds and all of that good stuff. And then for some reason on Friday or Saturday, you say, let me get on the scale and see how much I weigh. Because in your head, you haven't eaten anything since last Monday before midnight. Because you don't eat after midnight, the night before your surgery. So you decide to get on the scale that Saturday and you say, I'm going to see how much weight I have lost so far. And you get on the scale and you're so full of hope and you just know you're going to see like, 2, 3 pounds, maybe even 5 or 6 because you really haven't eaten anything, right? And you get on the scale and what do you see? You have gained 5 pounds. And what do? You freak out.
Freak out.
Okay, so let me explain why this happens, first of all. You just had major surgery, folks. Major surgery. Major surgery usually comes with swelling. Swelling, the very definition of swelling is that you are retaining a bunch of fluids, okay? It's just, man, don't play with those fluids. So my best advice to sort of offset this, to mitigate the panic, to mitigate the freak out is stay away from the scale. You're going to go to the doctor like a week or 2 after surgery. You weigh then. And a lot of times people then are expecting like this, massive, tremendous loss. And, people sound very disappointed if they didn't lose like 20 pounds the first week. I think that I'd blame the Biggest Loser because that first week on the Biggest Loser is like crazy. They would lose like 35 pounds first daggone week. That's not normal.
No.
Anyway, I will share with you that my 2-week appointment didn't happen until week 3 because during the time of my 2-week appointment, my surgeon had to go into emergency surgery for somebody else. So I didn't see him until I was 3 weeks post-op, and I had lost just over 12 pounds. And I was happy with that.
Yeah.
Because it was like 3 weeks later, I lost 12 pounds. See, this was before I had access to the weight loss surgery community on the internet, started comparing myself and all that different stuff. So yeah, I was tickled pink. I was like, oh, wow, I lost 12 pounds. So yeah. So so just don't get on the scale until you get on the scale at the surgeon's office. Just don't do it because you may see a gain and you don't want to get freaked out because people tend to go from I gained 3 pounds post-surgery to my surgery didn't work to I'm never going to lose any weight to I'm going to be obese for the rest of my life and all these other thoughts. Stop it. Just don't go near the scale. Okay, cool. So, Shannon, I thought of a bonus one that I'm gonna add to the end.
Okay.
But for now, let's do yours, which is that your taste buds may be a little different. Tell us about it, Shannon.
So, I was warned about this, but after surgery, and I don't know why in particular, but everybody says your taste buds may change. Sweets get sweeter and salty get saltier, and you may just not like certain flavors, and it can be really frustrating to go into like it's a whole new world. You're only eating so much and all of that, and you only get so much space and all that. So it's like really weird, but you have to just get a lot of different choices. So stock up on sample packs of protein, vitamins, drinks, your liquids, things like that. Because if you don't have a bunch of different things and you don't like the one thing you do have, you're going to feel like you have to drink something you don't like. And that's like a real big bummer. I wouldn't want to eat so get samples, a bunch of different things. Don't buy 6 months of a vitamin right after, right before surgery thinking, oh yeah, these are great. Cause you may wake up 2 weeks later and start your vitamin regimen and go, oh, I can't do these at all. That you're be nauseated or, whatever. And it's such a big bum out.
Yeah. So, and it's like, it's like, oh gosh. Oh, wait a minute. I got to show this one by Jessica. I love this comment. Wait a minute. Jessica said, the first time I had salsa after surgery, I accused my sister of adding sugar to it, and they thought I was nuts. Yes, because your sense of sweetness can be so heightened, and mine never quite recovered. Like I think I just sort of lost my sweet tooth a little bit. I can do protein shakes, but I don't like them to be super duper duper sweet, and I can't have like a whole bunch of sweet stuff. This is why things like, this season with the pumpkin pie and the cookies and everything isn't too problematic for me because I have a little bit. I'm like, okay, that's enough. But yes, Jessica, that's funny. Thank you for sharing that.
Right. Yeah. Because that's a perfect example.
Yes.
So perfect.
So, okay. So number 3, moving right along. Number 3 of what is now 9, because I have to mention number 9 and you'll see why when we get there.
Cool.
But number 3 is about a month-ish in, your weight loss may stall, guys. You may get a stall, and everybody freaks out about this stall. So let me break down to you what may be happening. Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. I'm not a physiologist. I'm not a bariatric surgeon. I'm not a dietitian. But basically, first of all, the body is not engineered to lose weight. That it just goes against, like, from an evolutionary standpoint, it just goes completely against what the body was designed to do. The body was designed to add fat and add fat and add fat because after all, we could run out of food, or there could be a really bad winter or something, and you could starve. So your body wants that fat so that it can burn the fat just in case you are ever in a situation of starvation. That is how the body works. So when you start to lose weight rapidly, the body sometimes will go, whoa. Pause, stop. Let me figure out what's going on here. And, some different things will start to change in how your body functions, and we'll go over that in another one of the changes you may notice after surgery. But it's basically your body trying to catch up with what's happening. And usually if you stay the course, do what you're supposed to do, don't start, especially not at a month post-op, don't crash diet at a month post-op. I don't even know what crash diet would be. Like, instead of taking your 3 sips of your protein shake, you just take 2. No, don't do that. 9 times out of 10, under eating is like for newer folks is a bigger problem than overeating, because under eating can stall your weight as well as weight loss, as well as overeating. So don't, like, your surgeon, and if you go to your surgeon and you tell them that you have stalled, they're not going to be surprised, because this happens to virtually everybody who has weight loss surgery. And my rule of thumb became, after surgery, if my surgeon isn't concerned about it, I'm going to try really hard not to be concerned about it too, because they have dealt with thousands of post-ops and I've just dealt with me. So, so that is another thing that might happen, is at a month-ish, and you may see your weight loss stall. Now, Shannon has one for the ladies. Sorry, fellas.
Yep, sorry.
For the ladies. Okay, so for childbearing ladies, what can happen, girl? What can happen?
So it was explained to me like this. Your body stores estrogen in fat cells. And when you start losing weight and you start losing your fat cells, that estrogen has to go through your body and be processed out. That can cause major mood swings, fertility changes, interruption in cycles, different things like that. So you get all kind of, hormonal and ragey and crazy. And it doesn't, I don't even know when they say it sort itself out, but I did notice that for myself, very early after having surgery, that I was on this crazy roller coaster of emotion, and it was really stressful. My doctor also recommended highly to be on some sort of a birth control if I didn't want to have any more children, because I am of childbearing age, and most women who are of childbearing age, it's advised to not get pregnant during the first what do they say, like a year and a half, or
18 months or so.
So yeah, it's just because your body's already going through so much, losing weight very quickly, and all the hormones that are kind of like racing through your body.
And you're not getting as many nutrients as you're supposed to. And interestingly enough, true fact about wonderful part of human nature is that the minute you get pregnant, your body stops worrying about you so much and directs the nutrients to the baby, which can result in you being severely malnourished. Now, do people get pregnant in the first year or so post-op? Yes, they do. And your doctor will help you manage that if it happens. But you should try to even if your goal in this whole thing is to get pregnant eventually, yes, you want to sort of manage that. And yes, and then Shannon, who is in the audience, not you, Shannon, that Shannon said, yes, it can interrupt your cycle. Yes,
it can.
I didn't have a cycle for probably, I'm going to say 11 or so months after surgery. The menstrual interruption, and once my weight started to level off, that's when that came back. I was mad as mad as hell, y'all.
Right?
I was like, does that mean it's over for me? Yes, it kind of did mean it was over for me. It doesn't necessarily mean it's over for you, but it was over for me.
Right.
Okay. So I have one that's similar, but wait a minute, it's coming. But wait a minute, we got another one to go through first. Which is number 5, which is ketosis. Ketosis. Yes. Ketosis. Okay, first of all, I'm going to give you a caveat that this is a gross oversimplification of the process of ketosis. Okay, so if there's a dietitian in the house, don't flame me, okay? This is gross oversimplification. This is a high level view. This is like the 50,000 foot in Southwest Airlines view of ketosis, okay? And be emailing me about this. But so ketosis, basically the premise behind ketosis is the fact that your body usually, when people are eating, whatever they want to eat, usually they have carbohydrates to burn quickly, simple carbohydrates to burn quickly for energy. And that's the first thing. That's sort of like the tinder your body goes to first, that quick burning energy that it can access really, really easily. Well, after you have weight loss surgery, number one, you're not eating a lot. Number two, you're focusing a lot on protein, which means your body doesn't, eventually will lose that quick source of protein. It may run out of its glycogen stores, and it's like, okay, what am I going to burn? What am I going to burn? Now, fat is like money in the bank to the human body. So your body doesn't want to burn fat. Like I said, that's not what your body was designed to do. So it's going to try a couple of other shenanigans first, one of which being ketosis. Ketosis means that your body starts burning something called ketones for energy. And that's sort of like the step before your body just finally gives up the ghost and starts burning fat. However, ketosis has some very distinctive symptoms, if you will, the one of which being that the inside of your mouth begins to taste like you have never brushed your teeth in your entire life. The inside of your mouth can taste really nasty. And if you're wondering I used to do like Mentos and like the Altoids, because it does come out the other end that way. It's not just you who notices that the inside of your mouth tastes like Crypt Keeper. It's like other people can notice too. So I was very like sugar-free Altoids, all of that good stuff. I was very sensitive to that. So ketosis, it can happen. Ketosis is normal, and it's a good sign. It means your body is heading toward that super duper duper fat burning phase. So if you experience ketosis, your doctor will probably ask you about it. It's normal. Don't freak out. It's normal. Okay. Number 6, Shannon, take it away. Number 6 is
a change. Oh wait, hair loss. Hair loss. I had it mixed up on my notes.
I know. I switched up because then
mixed it all up. Like
supposed to be next, and
okay. We'll work it out. We'll get it. Okay, so number 6 is hair loss, and this happens for a few different reasons. One, the body is under a lot of stress after surgery. Immediately after anesthesia. The meds that they give you, it basically just, it assaults your body. And so in a response, your body just starts like, it gets rid of it tries to like take everything from any place that it can. And so where it takes it from is the like the follicle of the hair, and you start losing your hair. So that's, one of those things. Plus, after surgery, you're not eating a lot, and so you're not getting the amounts of proteins and nutrients and vitamins, the things that you would probably get pre-op, and so that can also be causing your hair loss as well. It's completely normal. It's completely normal to have that happen, and for most people, they suggest taking a supplement, biotin supplement. It doesn't really keep your hair from falling out, but it helps
with the bounce back.
Yeah, it helps with the bounce back. So that's something that you can start kind of doing. I was taking it long before then, because I've told you guys I had thin hair way before I had surgery. But you can if you think you're going to have problems with thinning hair, or you've already got like fine or thin hair, you can start taking biotin before you have surgery, and that will kind of help you, kind of get you through that hump when you're not taking anything after surgery. But it's completely normal. It lasts what do they say?
See, that's
about another 18 months or
some people,
whatever.
like most people I hear from, their hair eventually recovers. Some people have like, and especially I noticed people who had like crazy super thick hair to begin with, their hair thins out a little bit.
Right.
And then it just sort of stays there, but it's still got good volume because they started out with like a super crazy like hair. So yeah, but for most people, it does end up going back. You can work with your doctor, work with your dietitian, make sure you're up on your labs, make sure your nutrients are where they're supposed to be. I don't know that I would. I mean, I don't know. Some people swear by like these biotin shampoos and all of these different things. I wouldn't go into debt with those products because it is a temporary situation. Unless you are like independently wealthy and it would just really make you feel better. And otherwise, in that case, A, I'm very jealous of you, and B, go for it.
I do use a special shampoo, but it's, it's not like super unaffordable. I only use the teeny I keep my hair kind of short, so one giant bottle at the salon will last me like a year and a half. So for me, that's worth it for myself. But your mileage,
don't be spending your rent money.
Your mileage may vary on that too.
Don't spend the rent money to buy biotin products. Although if you do, go to Shannon's house. How do I get the thing to point to you? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, go to Shannon's house. Okay. No. Anyway,
I got that really great spray too.
She's got the spray. I don't even have any real hair.
I know.
Yay! I have a wig. It gets taken off every couple weeks. They wash it. They put it back on. So I can't help you. Okay. I'm not strong.
I know. I'm not. I was joking. I know. You get like. I know. I've seen this.
No, I know. I'm kidding. I know.
No, I've seen it.
They've seen me. I am bald as the day I was born. Anyway,
so you could rock it though. You really could. Like you really could.
One day I am. One day.
Like I think that would be
not today.
I think
because that's the thing. When I tell people that I have a wig on, they're like, "Let me see," and I'm like, "It's a hair replacement wig, so it's bonded. So literally, like,
you can't. Right.
This thing is not going to come off. No, it doesn't come off.
No.
Well, it does come off." And she has to put like the special stuff that smells like oranges. It smells like oranges. Yes, it's lovely. Anyway, moving right along. Number 7.
Okay.
Change in sex drive, up or down. Now, I can't speak for the men on this one. I'm sorry, we're women, so we're talking a lot from the women perspective. But just like Shannon said, that estrogen is in the fat cells. By the way, Pam, after I say this, Pam wants to know about, I think, the spray, or the shampoo, one and two. But yeah, so those estrogen in the fat cells, it's like the fat cells are burning. You've got all this estrogen. Yes, you can either, and I've seen people react one of two ways. Either the drive can go up or it can go down. I will say that I believe I'm admitting this on Bariatric Foodie Live. No, mine was like, it was weird because I was like single. Like I'm still single, as in not married, but I was single when I had surgery, and mine was up. So it was like every guy, like the trash man, Shannon. It was like, bow, chicka, bow, bow. Like, look at you carrying that trash bag. Dodging that big old Baltimore rat, you handsome trash man. Yeah. Like, oh my God, I was insufferable. I was just like, oh my God. Oh man. Yeah. So needless to say, I don't think I've ever, like, I don't talk about my boyfriend a lot. I have a live-in boyfriend. That makes him sound like he's like the maid. My boyfriend lives and the kids. And so we dated like years and years ago. And then he like stopped calling me because he was an immature jerk. And then we didn't see each other for like 6-7 years. And then he like pops back up. Like I pass him on the street one day. Anyway. So hi Shannon, I'm in Baltimore too. Hi. I'm like right now sitting here. So we get back together, and it was a good thing because I was really worried. I swear I'm not going to go into squeaky detail here, but I was kind of worried about me and that particular aspect. Now, here's the thing I need for you guys to understand if you are single. Well, no, even if you're married. Okay, so married advice, single advice. I don't know that I have the right to give married people advice because I've never been married, but here goes. Make sure that you talk to your partner about what you are like, what's going on with your body, because if your drive goes down and their drive is the same, they might feel rejected. If your drive is up and their drive is where it's always been and it's not quite where you want it to be, you might feel rejected. Just keep the lines of communication open, people. Keep the lines of communication open. If you are single, like I don't have a boyfriend right now, single, please be safe. Weight loss surgery does not protect you from getting an STD, folks. It does not protect you from having, and I was at the club and had a one-night stand, and now I'm pregnant, and I'm not quite sure what that guy's last name is, baby.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not the look that you want to go for, the weight loss surgery. No. So just be smart, be safe, communicate your needs.
True story. True story. My bariatric surgeon took my husband into another room while they were. He did. He totally did. He did. He said, and I don't really even know exactly what he said, but I do know that when after I kind of recovered and I was like crazy moody and all that stuff. And one day I just looked at my husband and I said, I'm so sorry. I said to him, I'm so sorry. I'm all over the place with my hormones and I'm crazy and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, don't worry about it. I already knew all this was going to happen because the bariatric surgeon had taken him into the room. One to gauge how supportive he was of my choice to have bariatric surgery, and two, to kind of give him a heads up on this type of stuff. And so it was like he really did, he took you in and he's like, yeah, what did you think I left for? I was like, because they weren't really doing anything, they're doing my blood pressure and stuff. It wasn't in depth or anything. He could have stayed there. And he's like, why did you think I left? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea why you left. That was why.
Okay. That was a way cleaner story than I thought that was going to be.
No.
Okay. That's how my second son was born. No. But, so.
He was a year old by then.
Yeah. So. Okay. So I think we can both kind of speak on number 8, because even if it hasn't happened to us personally, it's happened sort of to me, is we've heard about it enough, which is number 8 is that relationship changes. It's not to your body. This is to your life. Relationship changes that you can go through. And that can happen for a variety, a bunch of reasons. You can, it may be that, if the rest of your family is larger and you're all of a sudden getting smaller, it's like, this thing where they're feeling a little bit insecure about themselves. That you may have one particular member of your family where you used to be the quote unquote the fat one, and they used to be the skinny one, even though both of you were probably weighed more than you should. Now, you're not only the skinny one, you're rapidly moving toward being just straight up skinny. They might have some feelings about that. I know one thing that my family told me, that I was so glad that they told me, was that it sort of made them uncomfortable at first when I ate around them, because my healthy food choices sort of read like a rejection of their unhealthy food choices. I don't know what to do about that, because I love you, but I'm not puking for any of you. So no, I'm not eating that stuff. So just to make you feel better about yourself. So, my advice there with relationship changes is, if it is a relationship that is important to you, again, communication. Try to find out what's at the bottom of it. Please, please, please always try to give your family members and the ones you love the benefit of the doubt. They're not trying to be evil, even though they're acting evil sometimes. But, they love you at the end of the day, and I'm sure that they want you to be happy. It's just a little bit of an adjustment. And, relationships are relational. We all think of ourselves in relation to other people. You know, I am, you know, I think of myself relationally to my children as a mother, and to my brother, I'm sort of a mother hen sister. And, you know, when those dynamics start to change, things change. And you have to really realize that, you know, the people that you love are going to go through some stuff just like you're going through some stuff, and to communicate. Now, I told you I had a bonus number 9, which is bringing it back into the realm of the physical. Which is, and I've heard about this happen. This did not happen to me, but I've heard about it happen enough that I believe that it's true, is that right after surgery, you actually, some people report that they don't feel any restriction whatsoever. Like like this, like it seems like I can just eat and eat and eat, or it seems like I can, you know, eat way more than I'm supposed to, or whatever. And I talked to some bariatric surgeons, not this past year, but the year before that at OAC about this. And the consensus I got from them is the fact that you get a lot of your nerves cut during surgery. And sometimes the sensations take a while to come back in. But that most people who report that they are able to eat more than they think they should be able to. It's not that they're hungry. They just feel like they're able to eat more than they should, and that they should stick to the amount of food and the type of food that their surgeon and their dietitian recommended. And if they experience hunger after eating that food, then they should definitely call in right away to their bariatric office. Something might actually be wrong if it happens early in the process. Now, me, I was super restricted. I mean, like one bite, and I'm like, dear Lord, I'm going to die. So yeah. So, but I've heard about that enough times that I wanted to sort of throw that out there too. Is if you have surgery, and you don't have any that's the thing, is I don't believe that it's actually that you don't have any restriction. It's just that you're not getting that fullness feeling as fast as you should. Yeah. So anyway, those are some things it's totally normal to go through, but that may freak you out. Moving right along, Shannon and I had a good conversation because I'm big into like the key to this lifestyle, the key to winning at weight loss surgery is your habits. You have to stay on top of your habits, no matter how much you weigh, no matter how fast you're losing weight, whether you're losing weight, your maintenance, your whatever, your habits are where the make and break of this long-term healthy lifestyle lie for you. So Shannon and I put our heads together and we talked about the core habits that we think that if you are a pre-op or a new post-op, you need to start working on, like now, like today, like as soon as you get off this live, but not during the live. But as soon as you get off the live, stay with us. But as soon as you get off this live, figure out a way to work on these core habits. So I'm going to let you go first, Shannon. And you have one for pre-op and one for people who are new post-op. So your pre-op one, let's see it.
Pre-op is exercise. Start making it a habit now. This is my Achilles heel. I've talked many, many episodes about my lack of exercise and my, trouble with getting moving and things like that. And it's just something that I'm still working on and I need to get better at it. But the idea that I want to get home here is that you don't have to do a lot and you don't have to go out and decide you're going to do the one thing you think that's going to be the most bang for your buck. You do something that you like and you do it regularly, and you can pick, one or two different things or, whatever, but make sure that you enjoy it. Make sure that you're wanting to go and do it. Because if you want to go and do it and you start doing that before you even have surgery, you're going to be more likely to continue to do it after surgery. And that's where those core habits get started.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? The sooner you can get into that habit of doing something that you love, even if you can't do a lot of it, even if, you say, I'm overweight, I can't walk for more than, 5 minutes time, then do it. Walk 5 minutes and do it and do it and do it. And I promise you, if you do it and you like it, you will make a better choice of continuing to do it. And, that makes a huge difference.
Yes.
Monumental difference.
Shannon is on a mission, y'all. She's like, if I can just save one person. It's like, preach, girl. Preach it, girl. Preach it, girl. Anyway, All right. So your post-op one. Okay, what's your post-op one? Let's see.
Post-op support groups. And I'm not going to tote a specific kind of support group. Some people enjoy going to their support groups at their, with their surgeon's center. Some don't have that option. They have online support groups, or, maybe you have a really small group or something like that. But going to a support group regularly early out is really, really important. And it's important in a twofold reason, because at first, when you're a new post-op, you're in an environment where there's a high likelihood of people who are experiencing a lot of the things that you're experiencing right along with you. And so like this live, we're talking about the things that you might be freaking out about. That's what they're talking about. People in your support group are going to be talking about that. You're going to find the support there. You may feel safer asking questions in a group setting. But then the second type of benefit from making it a habit to go to your support group is that as you mature, or you get further and further out, you can be that person to offer those advice and the tips to new post-ops, and that affords you accountability to yourself, because you're going and you're helping someone else. And also it can be really fulfilling to be the person that kind of is at support group and say, in my experience, this is what happened to me. And you can, reassure the new post-ops that they're on the right track, or that happened to me. That stuff's all really, really good to hear when you're a new post-op.
You have inspired. I'm going to go to support group. I'm going to do it.
Yes.
I'm going to do it. My support group is like, it's hard to get to though, because it's at 6, and it's like, well, it's not hard to get to. It's hard for me to get to with my work schedule. Right. Let me just say that. It's very centrally located. So
my surgeon, the center that I had my surgery at is like 35 or 40 minutes away. And it's in the same place where my kids go play hockey. Mm-hmm. And it happens my kids play hockey on Sunday, and then I'd have to go right back the next day on Monday and go to support group. So sometimes it's hard for me to make that trip 35 minutes to there and back.
Yeah.
All that much. So I go as much as I can. But yeah, it's really important.
Yes. So yes, it's important. And so, and then for me, most of my support comes from, and we'll be talking about this in coming weeks, but, I'm going to drop a bomb on them, Shannon. I have a support community as a part of Bariatric Foodie. You may have noticed that there's a little icon or a menu item on the Bariatric Foodie website that says the Foodie Nation community, and that is a member-run website, or member-supported website. It is a membership site that folks belong to, and we just all sort of support each other. And what I say by membership run website is that people do pay to have membership there, and we have a support call every single week with me. And we will be talking about that more in coming weeks. So consider that like your little preview. So we'll be talking about that in coming weeks, but that's my main source of support group is that support call every week. And we see each other face to face because it's online. And so my camera is pointed and their camera is pointed, and it's all a wonderful thing. So, but I'm going to go through my actual support group.
Yes.
You have convinced me, Shannon.
Yay! Good.
But everybody needs a source of support. Okay. Thank you. So, all right. Where are mine? Okay, gosh, I lost it. There it is. Okay, mine. Pre-ops. Stop eating and drinking together right now. Like right now. Like if you're still eating and drinking together, stop it. Just don't do it anymore. more. Okay. This is notoriously one of the hardest habits for people to break, is the eating and the drinking together. There are people who are years out who wonder why they are able to eat more than they're supposed to. A lot of times it stems from the eating and drinking together. That's where the eating and drinking together rule comes from. No matter what kind of surgery you had, drinking is likely to sort of wash food out of your system before it's supposed to be washed out, and you will get hungry sooner. In the beginning, that's not really a problem because you're just never hungry and you hate food all the time. However, well, some of us do hate food all the time, but as you get further out and you have a bigger capacity and you're able to eat more and you're able to eat a more variety of things, it just becomes a problem. So yes, stop it now. A lot of doctors tell you the 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after rule. You don't drink 30 minutes before a meal, 30 minutes after. Some people ask, well, what if I ate something really salty or spicy or whatever? What I tend to do is to have a strawberry or something that's like a palate cleanser on my plate, and I save that as like my, cucumber works too, but I like strawberry better. It's like a big strawberry. So and
kind of hard to find for me.
That at the end of the meal. Marianne, you said you have water or tea handy just in case you choke. Usually choking is a sign that you are not chewing your food well enough, or it's not moist enough. Oh, that word, moist. It's not moist enough. So
you said it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Pam said, even years out. Yes, even years out. That is one of the things that can contribute big time to regain, is the fact that if you are washing that food out of your system, you're going to get hungry more often. You're going to eat more than you should. And then also for Roux-en-Y patients, there's a risk of stretching what's called the stoma, which is the opening from the stomach to the intestines. And if you stretch your stoma, it's kind of a miserable type of situation, because that means that food can just go through your stomach into your intestines really, really fast, and your stomach is feeling empty a lot more than it should. So yes, years and years, that is a forever rule, forever, ever rule. Quit eating and drinking together. Yeah. Just don't make it. It's interesting. That wasn't a hard one for me to adopt, because of the fact that my mom never let us eat and drink together as kids anyway, because if we ate and drank together, we would just never eat. So she always made us wait till the end of the meal to drink anyways. I've just always been accustomed to sort of eating that way. But it is a cultural thing. There is no like biological reason why you need to drink while you are eating. Most people who haven't had surgery are advised to drink while they eat, because it works sort of the opposite way. It fills you up. It's only a temporary fullness though. So that piece of advice, I'm like, for people who haven't had surgery and need to fill up, you can drink while you eat, but then also eat food with lots of fiber. That's a better long-term strategy, because fiber takes a long time to work its way through your system. You're going to feel fuller longer. Anyway, so, all right. So that's my pre-op one. Stop doing that now. For post-ops, take measurements and pictures right from the beginning, like from your before to right after. And here's the thing, the scale is a great tool to be able to measure weight loss. However, it does not tell the whole story. Sometimes you are getting smaller and not much is happening on the scale incrementally. So the fact that you're changing so fast that it's hard for your eyes to really grasp what's happening, because to yourself, you may look the same. Everybody else is like, oh, you're changing, you're getting so small and all of this different stuff. And to yourself, you're just like, I don't see it. I don't see the changes. So hard data helps. Measurements help, because you can see that your measurements are getting smaller. Those numbers are getting smaller. The data helps in the form of pictures, a visual reference. Now, my big piece of advice for before and after pictures is this. Have sort of a standard uniform that you wear when you're doing your progress pictures, and pick a particular place in your house and always take the picture in the place. And here's why I say that. like standard uniform, what I mean is jeans and a white t-shirt. And every time you go to take your progress picture, jeans and a white t-shirt, maybe if you're in front of your front door, jeans and a white t-shirt in front of your front door. Because what's going to happen is as you build up those progress pictures, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, a year post-op, the only thing that's changing in the picture is you. You don't have on a different outfit. You don't have on a different, you're not in a different location. There's no, the light hit me in a different way because I'm in a different part of the house. The only thing that is changing is you. If every single picture you take, you have on blue jeans and a white t-shirt and you're in front of your front door and you take it around, I don't know, 6 p.m. At night, the only thing that the only change you're going to see as you flip through those pictures is you getting smaller. So take those measurements, take those pictures. You need those visual aids. Plus, you just deserve to celebrate your success. So just do it, folks. So anyway, so those are sort of the habits that we think are really important to work on now. Last thing we wanted to talk about before we open it up to burning questions is, okay, so tips and products that saved us early on. I'm going to go first on this one. Tips and products. I got a tip and I got a product, y'all. A tip and a product. Okay, so the one tip that saved me early on, learning how to make a hot protein drink. My goodness, that revolutionized my whole life. Now, if this is your first episode of Bariatric Foodie Live, we have made hot protein shakes on the show. So you might want to look through the videos on the page, but it's a very simple method. We also have on Bariatric Foodie, and we'll try and post that soon, the instructions on how to make a hot protein drink. And the important thing to remember is that you do not just dump protein into like boiling hot water. Yeah, no. That's never, ever, ever going to end well. Different people have different methods of doing it, but if you think of protein sort of the same way as an egg, when you're making something where you need the egg to go in there without scrambling, you're tempering the egg, you're tempering the protein, you're bringing it up to temperature slowly, and then you're adding the rest of the heat once it's at a temperature where it's not going to curdle. And because what will happen is if you just dump protein into like boiling hot water, you're going to get like these little rubbery ball things. It's just... Ugh. It's nasty.
It's gross.
Ew. Shannon. You ruined my moment, man. Anyway.
I'm sorry. That was gross, though.
Little rubbery things that a lot of people call floaties. So you get the floaties and, you know, you can skim them off the top, but that's protein that's going sort of in the trash. So it sort of defeats the purpose. So learn how to make a hot protein drink because sometimes the hot protein drinks can be soothing. Sometimes with the cold ones, it gets too much air in it. That fills up your tummy too quickly. Sometimes just cold stuff is offensive to your system. So sometimes a hot drink can be very soothing. So learning how to make a hot protein drink was a tip that saved me in the beginning. Product, I don't have a particular product. This is like sort of a category of product, but my product is all chewable bariatric vitamins. In the beginning, I was on swallow bariatric vitamins, and that just was not working out well. First of all, they seemed too big. Second of all, I have this mind thing about medicine. So if you have a mind thing about medicine like me, sometimes chewable bariatric vitamins can work better because they read more like sort of like a candy sort of thing. I am a Celebrate Vitamins girl.
Yes.
Hey, Laura and all those Celebrate Vitamins folks, but all chewable bariatric vitamins. It's just a wonderful thing that I discovered. And, you know, I had surgery almost 10 years ago. So, you know, there were chewable vitamins, but, you know, there weren't nearly as many choices as there are now. I see we have some questions coming in, but we're going to wrap up with Shannon's tip and her product, and then we'll go back through questions. Yes. Okay, so Shannon, your tip is...
Okay, so my tip is putting down my fork between bites.
Oh, wow.
And like literally I would put my hands down under my, like the front of my knees and like really chew and chew and chew and chew. Like, what do they tell you? 25 times or however many, you know, chew and chew and chew and chew. And don't move your hands until you're done chewing and you swallow that bite. Then you pick up your fork again and take another bite, because that helps you like really focus on, have I eaten enough? It slows you way down because you're not tempted to just shovel food right into your mouth. And it saved my life several times from overindulging. Because you can't. You're slow. You're eating very slowly. You're taking that time. You're making sure the food is properly, that proper consistency for your new stomach to tolerate. And that is just like, put your hand, like, sit on your hands, and
that's commitment, girl.
Keep yourself from, I had to do it because I was a shoveler. I was get me all the food all the time. And I had to really be super consistent about that.
You were committed, girlfriend.
I know.
If I had bare arms, I would wave the bat wings at you. Yes, it'd just be like, yeah, let's see. I can still do it. There you go. Get a bat wing wave for that one.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then your product.
The product was sugar-free popsicles, and I didn't have trouble with cold drinks or cold items. The cold protein shakes, they didn't bother my stomach. Some people have trouble with like cold early out, from what I understand. I didn't have trouble with them, and that really helped me, especially really early out, because I was still able to get fluids like consistently without the inclination to want to like take big gulps or drink too fast, or try to get all of it in all at once. It was a really great, like you can just have a popsicle and have a little bite. And, I'd take a couple bites, and then if I was like, oh, I can't do this anymore, I'm full, I would put it in a cup, put it in the freezer. And then, I didn't waste them,
Yeah, I love them too. The red ones, I'm not exactly sure what, I think they were supposed to be like cherry or something, but the flavor, no, it was red.
It's red.
No, it's red. The red ones. I loved them. All right. So those are our tips and products that saved us.
I
only saw, okay, so turning now to burning questions. So we had a question. Let me just put this up here. Smelly ass. Is it normal? Yes.
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 Sorry. Yes.
10 years
all
later,
the time.
Yes.
Yes.
And here's the thing, though, is like in the beginning, you kind of get gas for everything. But now I notice a pattern like carbs. Carbs give me such gas. Like, oh my gosh. And God forbid I ever take like a bite or even 2 bites of anything that actually has, because, if I eat a full meal, I can eat a couple of bites of something with sugar and it doesn't kill me. But it will give me the worst gas. And then things that are high levels of sugar, alcohol. They give me the bubble gut.
Yeah.
And then, what eventually happens with the bubble gut is that, it doesn't end well, folks. So, yes, smelly gas, it does happen. If anybody else has any...
It's totally a thing. Sorry.
So, yeah, but, you can manage it, kind of, a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention to what you're eating and see if there's any trends you can identify there. And then
how fast you're eating. Sometimes eating too fast incorporates more,
So, or you could just embrace it and let that become part of your personal culture. Like my boyfriend knows that he's just going to get the radiator at night. Okay. That's part of our relationship.
Amen.
And I think he would be worried about, I think he would like be checking my pulse if I wasn't under the covers 2 every 3 seconds. quite honestly. So, yeah. So, I just embrace it as that's part of being me. That's part of loving me. Okay. Yep. If you love me, you will deal with it. Okay, wait a minute. Hold up. Let's see. Let's see. Margaret said, cravings for food you hate, shrimp, avocado, and almonds are my craving. I've never craved foods that I hate. Now, I have started liking foods that I hated before.
Yeah, me too. Not necessarily cravings, but yeah, I've increased the types of food that I eat.
But I don't like actively first of all, what food do I hate? I don't really have too many foods I hate. I have foods where I hate the preparation. Like my mother was she would make corn, tomato, and okra, and I love that. mainly because like boiled okra is a big fat no because it's slimy and it reminds me of that show You Can't Do That on Television on Nickelodeon. And no, but the acid from the tomatoes would cut that and it wouldn't be slimy, and okra is really good when it's not slimy. So yeah, but I've never like craved slimy okra and at the same time just hated it. Like
yeah,
I hate okra, but
that's weird.
No, but
trying to think. So if you legitimately hate them, I don't know, like
so maybe
have you tried them and you hate them, or what's
like liking them, but she's historically hated them,
right?
And so that's a little bit weird,
right?
Because our bodies do all sorts of strange, like willy-nilly things. Okay, so let's see. Pam said, "Where can I get the protein funnel thing you had several episodes ago?" If you go onto Amazon and you Google protein funnel, there's like 8 million different kinds of protein funnels. Probably some, a couple more affordable than the one that I had. I got mine because I am a proud subscriber of My Bariatric Box, which is the only bariatric subscription box serving people from pre-op through maintenance.
Wow.
Learn more through www.mybariatricbox.com. And it came in the My Bariatric Box. I think I forget what it's called though. What was it called? I forget what it was called. But anyway, if you go to Amazon, like you don't necessarily have to subscribe to the box, but you know, I like My Bariatric Box. I will unbox a box one day for you guys. But if you don't want to go through all of that, you can certainly go on Amazon and put protein funnel, and it will pop up like many products. Because actually, when I was trying to find the exact one that I had, I searched it on Amazon. I was like, holy crap, there's a lot of different protein funnels here. Okay, so moving right along. Let's see. Any other questions? Okay. Tips for regain weight. That's a big question. I think we covered some of that last week on last week's show. However, I would say that if I had to give like a couple of quick bullet pointed tips, number one, go see your bariatric surgeon and his team. They will, you might get the principal's office speech. I know it's the pits. You just got to like, you know, I'm one of those people who, you know, starts, humming old spirituals when my doctor annoys me. So I go into my swing low sweet chariots and, in my head. So, yeah, you got to go through it. But, you know, they do have some solutions and there can be some interventions. The second thing I would say is that I usually go back toward eating firm proteins first. And what I mean by firm protein is chicken breast, piece of steak, pork chop if you can eat it, things like that. Things like soft scrambled eggs, dairy, things like that. They can sometimes be called slider foods because they go through your system very easily and you can eat a lot more of them than you would want to. So things like, you know, getting the starches out. First of all, getting the starches out and then getting your water up will go a long way to kickstarting things again too, because of the fact that a lot of times when you're eating starch, like me, I'm a potato chip hound. Salt. I'm retaining water, things like that. But the big thing to me is go see your bariatric folks. I know it's a pain. I know it's a drag. You don't want to go back in there. You feel kind of some type of way about it, but they really are the best ones to help you, and especially your dietitian, just sort of get back on track and start doing the things that you know you're supposed to be doing.
I think the biggest tip that I could suggest is to really evaluate when you're eating as well as what you're eating. Not only, you know, like finding a pattern. If you're eating when you're bored, or you're eating when you're, you know, just when it's nighttime or whatever, then that from a behavioral position, you can change that behavior. So, you know, if you're eating at nighttime, then you start doing something other than your typical nighttime routine. You know, you go to a different room. If you find you're always eating at nighttime because you're in a certain place or you're watching a show, well, change it up. Go to a different place. You know, change the order in which you do your nighttime routine.
Shannon,
you know,
I can't believe you didn't suggest the thing that's nearest and dearest to your heart.
What?
Start knitting.
Knitting. Well, yeah, I love knitting. But yeah, do something to busy your hands. Yeah.
Hands.
Do something to busy your hands.
Shannon
but yeah,
knit you a whole house, y'all. She will just knit it, and it'll be like a house the next day. Like I just knit this house with yarn that I spun myself.
I'm actually a really slow knitter. I can crochet a lot faster, but I do love knitting. But yeah, change your behaviors. Identify the behavior when you're eating, and what types of food you're eating, obviously, and then from a behavior standpoint, you can rearrange those, change up the behavior, and that can kind of redirect you back on track.
There you go.
That was a big tip that I thought was important.
Okay, so Anita said, "How do you avoid eating a bunch of small meals? That's starting to be a pattern for me." I'm gonna answer a question with a question, which is, first of all, there's nothing inherently wrong with eating many small meals after weight loss surgery, as long as those meals are planned out, intentional, and they are meeting your nutritional needs. However, if you're talking about grazing, grazing is different than having small meals. Grazing is like a bite here, a handful there. It all adds up. Small meals are planned. So my big piece of advice, and you can chime in too, Shannon, is that to plan, like if you find that you feel like you're eating too often, start planning your meals a little bit better. Pay attention to where you are hungry, where you are not hungry. Plan your meals around the times that you generally tend to be hungry and active and all those good things. And just make sure that you're not going into the grazing territory. If you find yourself hungry more often than you're supposed to be, you might want to make an appointment with your dietitian. They're probably going to recommend some changes. They're probably going to have you do a food log, really honest food log, and recommend some changes. It may be that you're not getting enough fiber, or you have too many simple carbohydrates, or you have too many slider foods going on there that are making you hungrier sooner than you're supposed to be. But
I have a question.
The only way to find that out is to go see your dietitian. What's up?
The other thing is, how much are you drinking?
Yeah.
Are you getting enough fluids? Because a lot of times people think that they're hungry when they're actually thirsty, and they don't even know it, because the body just says, hey, put something in my mouth. And you usually think of food. But if you're not getting enough fluids, that can be a huge detriment as well. So if you're like, oh, I'm hungry, go and drink a glass of water. And if after that you're still hungry, maybe have another small glass of water. And then after that, if you're still hungry, then find a good protein snack or something.
But after the glass of water, if I'm hungry, I'm more hungry after the glass of water.
But sometimes,
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. That can sometimes, even just your brain, I put something in my belly, and that kind of just, slips itself right in place.
When does that? No, this is bad advice. Okay, if you've been like advised specifically against this, do not follow this advice. But for my stomach, coffee reads as like a meal. So if I'm like feeling like I'm getting too snacky, I'll have a cup of coffee. I'm allowed 2 cups of coffee a day for my dietitian, 20 ounces total. So I parse that out over the day. But yeah, a strategically placed cup of coffee for me is a godsend. Anyway, Marianne says, what type of protein powder is good to use in hot tea? You don't want to lose the flavor. Unflavored, and you have to find your unflavored. I like both the BiPro, but then I really like that Bariatric Protein 1 unflavored. That was really good, and that's like it's raw, natural, like natural stuff. So, but yeah, unflavored. It doesn't affect the taste of the tea for me. I steep my tea for a good amount of time, so make it strong, get that tea flavor in there good. And that's how I do it, is with it. Or you can do like a complimentary, like if you have a tea that's like cinnamon or pumpkin spice or something like that, you can do like the vanilla and have like a pumpkin spice thing going on there. But let's see.
I do chocolate and peppermint tea.
Yeah. Ooh.
I do chocolate and peppermint tea.
Okay, let's see. Margaret, do you have days where you just don't want food? I have this happen every few months and it lasts about 4 days. I think that's a pretty normal post-op thing. If you want to know my personal theory about it, it's because there's only a finite amount of space in your digestive system. And I noticed that it happens right preceding, not to be gross, a very good poop. then you have the very good poo, and then you're hungry again. Your system has emptied out. When your system gets to a certain amount full, there's chemical things that happen in your body that says, don't send no more food down here. We're trying to work with what we've got right now. Don't send anything else down here. And so, it works its way through your system. You have this glorious bathroom moment, and then all of a sudden you're hungry again. So I don't know if you've ever noticed that happen, but that's the way it tends to happen for me, is if my system is full, I just won't get hungry for a few days until that works itself out. So that was more than you wanted to know about me.
Right. We just learned a whole lot. I think that the other thing to keep in mind is that it is normal, and food apathy happens. And as long as you're eventually eating something, I wouldn't freak out too much about it, because 3-4 days, but if it goes longer than that and you're just not eating, then that becomes an issue that you need to talk to someone about.
Yeah, the important thing to remember, and this is not for me saying go 3-4 days without eating. You definitely should not do that. But the body has mechanisms to deal with prolonged periods without food. The best of which being the thing that we're trying to get rid of, called fat. So your body is okay if you are eating at decreased levels for a couple of days. Don't start doing that with water. The body is not designed to go a long time without water. So drink your water.
Right.
Drink your water. Okay, let me see. I think we got through all of the questions. High five, Shannon. Anybody? Okay, we're going to do a last call for questions before we head out into the great beyond.
This was a good show.
This was a good show. Yes, we're going to point folks. Now we have something to point folks who are new. Watch this. We answer a lot of questions. And yes. So next week on Bariatric Foodie Live. Next week on Bariatric Foodie Live, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so I am going to take that opportunity to go through my own personal. You guys, if you've been following this for a while, know that I was diagnosed with breast cancer last year. I am still here to talk about it. I'm very grateful. So I'm going to go through my diagnosis process. I'm going to outline for you what the symptoms were that brought me in to get checked out, which eventually led to my diagnosis. I'm going to talk about some of the things that happened during my diagnosis, some of the things that happened during my mastectomy, some of the things that you can do, and things that are normal and not normal, that you can notice that you should go to definitely call your doctor versus, just mentioning it at your next primary care physician appointment sort of thing. So we're going to go through all of that because my weight loss surgery did sort of play an undercurrent in my diagnosis process in several distinct ways. And so I want to sort of go through that story and give you all of the tips and information that I know, and also how being a weight loss surgery patient plays into that whole process of being diagnosed, how you can respond to different treatments, maybe a little bit differently, and then what to do at certain intervals. So we're going to talk about all of that next week on Bariatric Foodie Live. So guys, you got to tune in next Thursday at 8 p.m. and we will see you then. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.